Hi, welcome to Wine Wanderings. Today I have Elizabeth Heath, travel and lifestyle editor in Italy, joining me. Don't you love her background? Welcome,
It's my backyard.
I think that's beautiful, and it reminds me of trips to Italy. So, Elizabeth, I'd like our readers to know about you. And so you're from the United States originally?
Yes. I was born in Missouri and I spent most of my life in Florida with a few little detours here and there, but I mostly grew up in the West Coast, on the West Coast of Florida. And I was most recently living in Sarasota, my favorite places in the world, before I moved to Italy.
And what brought you to Italy?
Love. Isn't that the famous story? The longer version is I went back to school a little bit later in life to work on my PhD in archaeology and anthropology. And I did that with the idea that I wanted to do archaeology in Italy because I had visited Italy once before. I was really fascinated with this classical history, with just I think for me, for somebody who grew up in Florida where, you know, an old building is from the 1950s, to come to Italy and see these layers and layers of time and history was really fascinating. So I started coming to Italy to work on archaeological digs in the summers, and more kept thinking, I think I might want to live here. I think I might want to live here. So in 2008, I spent the summer in Italy with the idea of really testing the waters. I got myself an apartment. I was by myself. I was in a place where I didn't know anyone else, and I wanted to see, well, what does that really feel like to be, you know, the stranger in the strange land. And then a couple weeks before it was time for me to leave, I met my future husband. So he's Italian, and we live now in a small town near Orvieto, which is in Umbria in central Italy. And yeah, we did long distance, and he came to visit me and I came to visit him, and little by little, piano piano, as they say in Italy, I made the move. So that was what, 12 years ago. And we have
12 years ago. That's a long time.
We have a 9-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm.
And of course, Umbria, known for Sangratinos,
Mm-hmm.
wonderful wines in Umbria. So you were able to start writing as well, and you secured the authorship of the Frommer's Day-to-Day chapters. Tell me about how your journey into writing about travel.
Sure. I had been a writer, and I'd always been a writer and editor. I've been freelancing for, oh gosh, 15 years, I guess, before I moved over here. So that was always something that was there. It was, sometimes it was more editing than writing. Sometimes I was doing medical stuff. You know, it just, you know, as a freelancer, you go where, you know, kind of have to go where the money is too, right? And I had also been teaching writing and humanities at a university in Florida. So I had also been all this time an editor for the Frommer's Travel Guides, a freelance development editor. So I've edited guides for all over the world, really. And I was a regular editor for the Italy guides, the Italy guidebooks. And then when their Rome writer left, I put my name in because I already had a relationship with Pauline Frommer, who's the of Frommer's Travel LLC. And I said, you know, if you're looking for somebody to write Rome, I think I, you know, might be able to do that. So I now write all of the Rome chapters for all. They have a series of guidebooks on Italy, and I write all the Rome content and Rome adjacent content for them. So well, kind of right place, right time, and persistence.
I'll call you before my next Rome trip for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So how have you fared during the pandemic? Because of course you get our news and we get your news. Tell me about your experience this year.
Just on a day-to-day level, we've been lucky because, first of all, like I said, this is my backyard. So we're not stuck in a little apartment with no balcony. I mean, some of the people in Italy really suffered, the people who lived in cities during the most severe lockdowns. And we're in a pretty strict lockdown again now that started a week ago. But we live in a rural area there aren't a lot of people coming and going here, so we're not as exposed, I guess, to the virus. It has hit some people in our town, but we also haven't had that closed in sense, because we do have, we can take walks and we can be outdoors and we have a little bit of a yard. So in that sense, we were much more fortunate than a lot of people. And now we're in our third lockdown, and what's happening now is more similar to the first lockdown, in that restaurants and bars are either closed, depending on what part of the country you're in, or available only for takeout. And you can't even, if you go in the bar and get a coffee, you can't stand outside the bar and drink it. You have to move along, because they just don't want people congregating at all. Schools are closed, so my daughter's back to homeschooling, virtual schooling, and seems to be going much more smoothly, I think, because everyone's used to it. So, for as far as the tourism economy, that's just been devastating. It's been devastated here. So
yeah, the hospitality and tourism industries this year in almost all locations have just been terrible. So tell me what some of your current projects are, because I know in previous discussions, you'd said you'd had to pivot a little bit during the pandemic.
I was lucky in that I had a surprisingly productive year writing about travel and travel adjacent topics. And that's because I jumped in on writing more reported items on what's going, and it wasn't, I wasn't writing stories about, look at all these fabulous places you can go, because really we don't want to rub people's faces in it, right? But I was writing a lot of reported items about trends in travel, news in travel, how the industry was adjusting to the pandemic. I got my first assignments with the Washington Post during the pandemic. So that's been a high watermark for me, definitely. My writing. And then fortunately for me, Travel and Leisure named Italy their destination of the year for 2021. So I've been able to write a lot of Italy content for them that has not been related to the pandemic, just about places you can go in Italy. And even if it's sort of armchair things, at least it provides some inspiration, hopefully. And I get to write about some of my favorite places. And then I've written wellness articles, health and wellness items. I've done I think I've probably written 100 articles about home improvement for a website that specializes in home improvement, because these are the things, these are the topics that have been booming during the lockdown: health, wellness, home improvement, cooking, pets. So
yes,
these are the things I've written about, because and they make lemonade from doing life hands you lemons, make lemonade, right?
Oh, so, of course. And our home improvement shows in the US have gone crazy with Fixer Upper and Home Away and Bones, and there's a lot of those here. Well, thank you for joining us on Wine Wanderings, Elizabeth. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure too.
Yeah, and I think I would like our readers to see some links to some of your articles, so we'll definitely include those. Anyway, you have a great day.
Okay, thank you.